This week on Jerusalem Dateline, some are calling it the worst humanitarian crisis in the world today. Nearly 1 million refugees are fleeing the fighting in northeast Syria. Plus, a ministry and a family who run to the battle and share the love of Jesus. And the Bnei Anusim, the prophetic story of millions who are rediscovering their Jewish past and praying at the Western Wall for China and deliverance from the coronavirus. All this and more this week on Jerusalem Dateline. Hello and welcome to this edition of Jerusalem Dateline. I'm Chris Mitchell. Some are calling it the worst humanitarian crisis in the world today. Nearly 1 million civilians are fleeing the fighting between Syrian forces of Bashar Assad, backed by Russia, and rebel Islamist groups backed by the Turkish President Erdogan. All this in the northeastern Syrian province of Idlib. The UN is sounding the alarm.
We remain very alarmed about the safety and protection of over 3 million civilians in Idlib and its surrounding areas in the northwestern part of Syria, as reports of airstrikes and shelling continue to take a heavy toll on the civilian population.
Millions of Syrians are caught in the crossfire.
We stay here from the morning till the evening. We sit here and eat and drink. We are living. What can we do? This is our life. When it rains, we go to the car and stay there till the evening, and then we return to the mosque to sleep. This is what we do. What are we supposed to do?
Various sources report Turkey has supplied some of these al-Qaeda-like groups with U.S.-supplied weapons. Turkey has also asked the U.S. to supply Patriot missile batteries to protect these retreating forces. Some argue that would put the U.S. in the role of covering an operation that supports al-Qaeda. One Middle East analyst, Walid Farah, suggests that Idlib and neighboring Afrin province go under UN control instead of al-Qaeda in Turkey, and therefore provide a better solution for the people in Idlib. Well, for years, Syria and northern Iraq have been the epicenters for some of the worst fighting and humanitarian disasters in recent history. Here's the story of one family and ministry that has gone into some of the most desperate situations and brought the love of Jesus. Gary Lane has that story.
Our next guest runs directly into the center of danger. He's a missionary, former U.S. Army Ranger David Eubank. Now, 20 years ago, he founded a mission organization called the Free Burma Rangers. The group has helped ethnic people under siege by the Burmese military, providing relief and medical treatment, all in the name of Christ. More recently, FBR worked in Iraq during the battle to liberate Mosul from ISIS jihadists. You may remember CBN News showing you Eubank dodging gunfire, carrying a little Iraqi girl to safety. Well, now FBR is working in Syria, helping people under siege there. A new documentary film about the Free Burma Rangers is out any day now. And here to tell us more from Syria is David Eubank. Dave, good to see you. For those who aren't familiar with the Free Burma Rangers, how did you get started 20 years ago and why?
I was in the military and I got out and had just started Fuller Seminary and just met my wife-to-be who refused to date me. And in the middle of all that, a tribe from Burma called the Wa tribe contacted my parents, who are missionaries in Thailand next door, and said, please send someone to help us. And when they came to my parents' house from Burma, which is, Burma's 70 years of civil war right now, and came and said, they saw a picture of me with a green beret because after I was in Rangers, I was in Special Forces. And they said, that man's a warrior. We need Jesus, and we are a warrior people. Send him. So we started the Free Burma Rangers by name in 1997, about 22 years ago, but it's actually been going since about 26 years, since 1993. And then the last 5 years, we've been involved also in Iraq, Kurdistan, and Syria.
And David, it's not just providing medical treatment to the wounded and injured and material relief. Tell us about the importance of sharing your faith with those you help.
Well, the most important thing I want to be and do is an ambassador for Jesus. And I share with everyone I can meet, like just today, with people who fled Idlib in Syria. Ask Jesus to help you. He's real. He's supernaturally real. He'll help you. Call on his name. And we gave them Arabic Bibles, and I prayed with them. I think my faith is weak, so I don't want to share faith because it is weak. But I can share my conviction and my encouragement to say, ask Jesus to help you. He's going to do it. And he's made the possible impossible. In my own life, I'm not a very creative person. But following him, he's helped me do new things.
David, the movie is out in select theaters as a Fathom event February 24th and 25th. Tell us about the film. Why was it done? What will people see?
Well, at about our 20-year point of the Free Burma Rangers, by then we had teams in Burma, and we hadn't gone to Sudan yet or Iraq yet. We've been in Burma. I just had this growing feeling. I wanted to thank God. I wanted to thank people who helped us and show them what would have been happening. It just welled up inside me. It reminded me of the 10 blind people that were healed by Jesus, and one came back and said, thank you. It just came up. I thought, this is the time to share the story. And I remembered I was talking to a filmmaker friend of mine, Chris St. Clair, in Burma, in the jungle. He was there doing another project with us. And I said, I'm going to make a film. It'll be horrible if I make it, but I will have done my part. And Chris St. Clair, who made this current movie, said, I'll do it. Pro bono. Free. Okay. And we prayed. And we wanted to tell the story, what has God done through us and in spite of us? Who are the beautiful people all over the world, from every culture and tribe and race and religion that God made? They're awesome. Get to know them. We want to show the miracles God has done, again, through weak, imperfect, simple people like us and our friends. And there's no other kind that I know of. There's a lot better people than us, but even the best people are not perfect. But God uses us anyway. You don't have to give up. And I want people to see the Karen people of Burma, the other people of Burma as we see them. It's lovely, wonderful people deserving to be free. We should stand with them. I want them to see Iraqis, as I learned, are wonderful people. They're not our enemies. And to see how God brings us together. My mom says, and she's been a missionary most of her life. She's 87, been in the field 60 years. My dad's 90. He's still in the field. I think you know them, Alan and Joan Eubank. My mom said, Dave, God has friends all over the world, and he likes them to meet each other. So I hope this movie does that as well.
Okay, it'll bring us together. The Free Burma Rangers documentary is out in select theaters February 24th and 25th. David, I guess people can check online for a showing close to them. Is that correct?
Yes, you can look at www.freeburmarangers.org or free FBR movie. You probably think I'm pretty illiterate, and I mostly am. I went to Texas A&M. But we're writing a book called The Free Burma Rangers in the Battle of Mosul. That's the subtitle. The main title is Do This for Love. And that'll come out later this summer as well. I'll tell you more about that later when we actually finish it. But it will be out this summer after the movie. And both of them telling slightly different stories about what we've seen and what has God done.
There's new questions over the U.S. military strike that killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. A recent White House memo to Congress does not cite an imminent threat. That's leading Democrats to question the legitimacy of the attack. But one security expert tells CBN's Eric Phillips that there were strong indications of Iran's next move.
We sat down with Michael Pregent, a well-connected Middle East intelligence expert who's also fought in that region. He provided insight on so-called chatter regarding the situation and how it harkened back to the 1979 hostage situation.
He was worse than Osama bin Laden. He was worse than Baghdadi. He was worse than Zarqawi.
That's why last month, at my direction, the U.S. military executed a flawless precision strike that killed Soleimani and terminated his evil reign of terror forever.
It was the best move we could have made.
Michael Pregent of the Hudson Institute says the clear picture provided by sources of the threat Soleimani posed to the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad made his demise a must.
The chatter was that they were going to do a 1979 hostage siege. They were going to take over the embassy, take all the Americans in the embassy hostage, and then broker release for sanctions relief.
While Soleimani was the main target, Pregent says the other terror leader killed in the strike would have also played a key role in the siege.
The chatter was they were going to put Abu Mahdi al-Mohandes in as prime minister, so do a coup, and then seize the embassy.
Pregent says when militia forces penetrated the U.S. Embassy on December 31st, it was essentially a dress rehearsal for what was to come.
Up next, the story of millions who are discovering their past that could foretell an ancient prophecy come to life.
Roman soldiers destroy the Second Temple of Jerusalem. Centuries of eyewitnesses say the temple treasures survived. But where are they?
They went from Jerusalem to Rome, Rome to Carthage, Carthage to Byzantium.
Historians are silent about what happened to it next.
CBN Documentaries presents the worldwide release of Treasures of the Second Temple.
So does it still exist today?
A story of mystery.
Where is it?
Calamity.
Most of the victims were butchered.
And destiny.
The possibility to dig is impossible.
Get your copy of Treasures of the Second Temple. Yours for a gift of any amount to CBN Documentaries.
Nigerian Christians
in Iran are routinely arrested.
Happily, Christians continue to suffer.
In times of trial and affliction, you need to know the truth.
One of the fastest growing Christian populations in the world.
Join Wendy Griffith and George Thomas for Christian World News.
Young people are the ones who are open to the gospel.
Powerful stories of suffering and hope that affect all Christians. Watch Christian World News, Saturday at 5 p.m.
Watch breaking news, in-depth exclusive stories and programs from health to entertainment you won't find anywhere else. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Enjoy credible news reporting from around the world. Discover inspiring programs and stories of hope, all in one place from a Christian perspective. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. To watch the CBN News Channel, download the app or visit cbnnewschannel.com.
Hey, if you're tired and exhausted all day, you can't think clearly, and you really just need a cup or even a pot of coffee to get through your day, then join me, Dr. Josh Axe, for this new series where I'm going to teach you how to transform your diet and use essential oils and supplements to get a better night's sleep.
Get Protect Your Sleep and live your best life with innovative information from 5 leading sleep experts.
If you're not a great sleeper, you can do things to make yourself a great sleeper. If you're already a pretty good sleeper, you can enhance your sleep and be even better.
Discover a sleep-enhancing bedtime routine, how to put insomnia to rest, learn how to relieve pain that disturbs sleep, and much more in Protect Your Sleep.
Everything you do better with a good night's sleep.
Wake up to your best life. Call 1-800-700-7000 to get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep today.
Don't miss out on this brand new series.
The Spanish Inquisition is an ugly chapter in the history of the Church. It lasted more than 300 years, spanned continents, and became one of the most extreme examples of anti-Semitism ever seen. But why is the Spanish Inquisition still important today? CBN Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl traveled to Portugal to find out.
They're called Bnei Anusim, or Sons of the Forced Ones. That's because they face the choice of converting to Catholicism or death.
It's something in the Jewish world that I don't think, apart from what is happening here, I've ever heard about it, or not 10 years ago, about the plight of the Jewish people from the time of the Inquisition. And it's easy to understand that because it was, of course, 500 years ago.
Jimmy McClintock joined Christians and Jews in Portugal to pray for the Bnei Anusim. The hope is to restore their Jewish heritage so they can immigrate to Israel.
For the Jewish people in America, you're either Jewish or you're not Jewish. The Bnei Anusim is different from that. The Bnei Anusim today, being confronted with the realization that they are Jewish, and yet their family life took a huge turn 500 years ago.
King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella initiated the Spanish Inquisition to expose Jews who converted to Catholicism but secretly kept their religion.
Either you convert or you die. So they never gave, Jewish people, these descendants, the option. But these descendants, they chose to keep their Judaism in secret, and it was a risk. And many of them died because of that. And they paid a high price for keeping to their origins and to their faith.
Castelo de Vide is a quaint Portuguese town of about 5,000 people. It's about 10 miles from the Spanish border. Hundreds of years ago, when the Spanish Inquisition started, Spain's Jews fled across the border here for protection. Over about 4 years, King Manuel I of Portugal welcomed some 120,000 Jews to his country. In 1496, however, the Catholic Church demanded King Manuel deal with his Jews before he could marry the daughter of King Ferdinand in Spain.
First, he thought he would ship them out, like the Jews were kicked out of Spain in 1492. And then he realized that if he does, he's got nobody to administer his country and to run the country. So he forced to convert them in one day.
One of the places that happened was this town square. The Jews were rounded up and brought here from the Jewish neighborhood, sprinkled with water and given new names. Afterwards, they were sent to new homes in Christian neighborhoods. At the time, many of Portugal's Jews fled to newly discovered Brazil, where an estimated 60 million of their descendants still live today.
And they want to know more about how to reconnect to the Jewish people and to the Jewish faith.
They include Mateus Guimarães and his father Marcelo, who started the first of its kind museum about the persecution of the Jewish people during the infamous Inquisition.
What is happening is that today we have thousands, if not millions of Brazilians that know that they are descendants from Jews from Portugal and Spain. And I believe the Lord is doing an awakening, and these people want to know more about their heritage.
But they face a situation similar to their ancestors.
The Orthodox establishment in Israel, they want to convert them to Jewish Orthodoxy, which is exactly what the Catholic Church did. They forced them to do something they don't want to do.
Israeli Joe Shulam, who started the Nativia congregation in Jerusalem, is leading the immigration campaign for the Bnei Anusim.
These people say we are Jews. We never stopped being Jewish. We were Jews even when we knew that if the church catches us and tries us in the auto de fe, we could be burned alive. They converted on the outside, and at home in secret they kept Jewish customs.
The smallest things could give them away, like preparing on Friday for the Sabbath or Jewish holidays. According to Shulam, the challenge is convincing Israel to change its law of return. It currently states a Jew who converts to another religion is automatically disqualified from immigrating to Israel.
They have kept their Jewish customs for 500 years on their own free will, at the pain of death and torture. So why now force them to convert?
Shulam and others believe this return to Israel would fulfill biblical prophecy.
God says through Obadiah the prophet that the Jews from Sepharad, I am a Sephardic Jew, the Jews from Sepharad will come back to the land with God's blessing and settle the Negev. Israel has been trying to settle the Negev for 70 years. It's still empty. The Negev is waiting for these Jews.
Isaac Herzog, chairman of the Jewish Agency, tells CBN News discussions are underway on how to handle immigration of the Bnei Anusim.
This is a major issue because it also has to do with legal issues, historical issues, but yes, I'm very much looking forward to an enhanced policy together with the government in Israel on this.
The vision is big. Shulam says they hope to eventually bring 2 million of these Jews back to Israel. Julie Stahl, CBN News, Castelo de Vide, Portugal.
Up next, they're called one of the lost tribes of Israel, and now they're finding their way in modern Israel, including higher education.
Now, for a limited time, you can get 5 of CBN's critically acclaimed documentaries. Experience the rebirth of the modern state of Israel.
The historic bonds between the Jewish people and the land of Israel cannot be broken.
Relive the battle for Jerusalem in the Six-Day War.
Jerusalem is yours, forever.
Discover how Israeli volunteers are changing the world.
When people need us, we volunteer and we come and help.
Explore the world of Israeli technological innovation.
We're people of dreams. God gives us dreams.
And that's really the roots, I think, of much of our innovation.
And understand the biggest land dispute in history.
Many Palestinian Arabs claim that the Jews stole Arab land. But is that the real story?
This exclusive Israel DVD collection can be yours for a gift of $40 or more. Call now or go online to get your Israel DVD bundle today.
Hello, I'm Dr. David Perlmutter, board-certified neurologist and #1 New York Times bestselling author. Wouldn't it be great to boost your energy, eliminate brain fog, and even reverse brain disease? Well, you can, and I'm going to show you how, along with some of the world's most well-respected brain experts in this DVD, Protect Your Brain.
Get Protect Your Brain, a free DVD only from the Christian Broadcasting Network, featuring experts on the cutting edge of neuroscience and brain health.
No matter how many times you've failed in the past, you really can do this.
In Protect Your Brain, you'll discover simple strategies to keep your brain young and healthy. Improve your memory. Discover the gut-brain connection. In Protect Your Brain, get your free copy at cbn.com or call 1-800-700-7000.
If you want to improve the quality of your life, get the DVD Protect Your Brain and get it today.
Ethiopian Jews have been called one of Israel's lost tribes. Thousands are returning to their ancestral home, and unfortunately they face daunting challenges in building new lives in the Promised Land. The Netflix movie Red Sea Diving Resort tells the real-life story of how Mossad, Israel's secret service, started smuggling thousands of Ethiopian Jews safely into Israel 40 years ago. Now, 2 generations later, more than 90,000 Ethiopian Jews live here. Many see themselves as descendants of the ancient Hebrew tribe of Dan. Each year, many of them celebrate the Sigd, an ancient holiday marking how God brought them to Israel. But these Ethiopian Jews face major challenges integrating into Israeli society. That's where Karen Hanan Ainor, or KHA, comes in. It's an organization committed to help young Ethiopians make the leap into higher education.
Everything starts in education. We're here to just push and push and push to get people into higher education and this way have a big impact on their own community.
For 26 years, the group has provided them more than 4,000 scholarships across 50 fields of education.
It helps me financially. I'm doing my second degree in MBA, and it's very expensive, unfortunately.
Yaakov plans to use her degree to take her own leap of faith.
To start up a business of myself. Right now I'm quality assurance. I'm consult for biotech field for startup companies. I want to do it by myself.
In Israel, education opens doors.
Education is the key to integrate and to involve in every corner in every profession in Israel.
Dr. Siga Malaku received one of the first scholarships presented and now leads the KHA.
In Israeli society, to integrate if you are not educated, and especially you are from Ethiopia and our skin color and everything, if you don't have a formal education and the professionally, it's not easy to integrate. But by the way, this kind of scholarship gives opportunity not for only first generation, also second generation too.
Malaku is seeing the impact from one generation to another.
We're trying to push forward a generation that sometimes needs a little bit of help in order to complete a very important thing that they have started.
Those behind KHA will continue to push generations forward in the hope one day their scholarships won't be needed. Up next, a gathering at the Western Wall comes to pray for the people of China and deliverance from the scourge of the coronavirus.
Christians around the world are standing with the Israelis. But why? In CBN's free magazine, Friends of Israel, you'll discover why Christians are supporting the Jewish state, how Israel is fulfilling prophecy as a light to the nations, and ways you can pray for the people of Israel. Israel needs the support of friends like you. Call now or go to cbn.com to get your free copy of Friends of Israel.
Watch breaking news, in-depth exclusive stories and programs from health to entertainment you won't find anywhere else. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Enjoy credible news reporting from around the world. Discover inspiring programs and stories of hope, all in one place from a Christian perspective. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. To watch the CBN News Channel, download the app or visit cbnnewschannel.com.
How'd you like to get a redo on your health, on your body, on your arteries, so you could have the energy you had 20 years ago? The great news is you can. I'm Dr. Mike Roizen, chair of the Wellness Institute at the Cleveland Clinic. I've written 4 New York Times bestsellers. But even better than having to read all that, you can listen to this DVD and watch it. Protect your heart? Yes, you can. Here's how.
Go to CBN.com or call 1-800-700-7000 for your free copy of Protect Your Heart. Let the medical experts show you their new discoveries on how to avoid heart disease and even reverse it. Easy steps to uncover the hidden dangers in your medicine cabinet, reduce stress, and get a complete do-over for your health. Call 1-800-700-7000. That's 1-800-700-7000. Or go to CBN.com to claim your free copy of Protect Your Heart.
China is the epicenter of the coronavirus that has killed more than 2,000, infected tens of thousands, and spread fear around the world. While scientists internationally are working to combat the disease, others here in Jerusalem are appealing to the God of Israel for mercy and help in time of trouble. Here's Emily Jones.
It's a cry for mercy from the heart of Jerusalem. Standing under the shadow of the Western Wall, Israelis ask God to eradicate the coronavirus from the earth.
We can't develop medicines because we're not doctors and we're not medics, and we just don't know what to do. But what we do know how to do well is pray.
The prayer meeting comes as some fear the world is on the verge of a global pandemic. So far, more than 71,000 people have been infected worldwide. China, where the disease began, is hit the hardest with more than 2,000 people dead and the death toll climbing every day.
We're praying for the people in China. We're praying for all people around the world in order to keep them safe, in order to keep them secure, in order to enable the doctors to find a cure very fast for this terrible coronavirus.
The faithful uttered prayers in Hebrew and Mandarin asking God to intervene. Several Chinese tourists joined them.
I really appreciate that a lot of Jewish people can come here for the purpose of to pray for China and pray that the difficult time will pass very soon.
Israel hopes these prayers from Jerusalem will be felt around the world.
It's pouring, it's raining, and we're standing here all united together, and the Jewish people are just standing here heart in heart with the Chinese people.
Emily Jones, CBN News.
Please join those here in Jerusalem and around the world that are praying for this dreaded virus to be stopped. Well, that's all for this edition of Jerusalem Dateline. Thanks for joining us. Remember, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. I'm Chris Mitchell. We'll see you next time on Jerusalem Dateline.